Roger Stone here. Every day you wait, your money loses value, but gold and silver don't follow those same rules. American Sovereign Bullion gives you access to a nationwide wholesaler network, helping you secure aggressive pricing on real physical metals. Call 844-272-2428 now to get your free gold and silver guide to learn how to protect your wealth with physical gold and silver, delivered right to your door or with a gold IRA. Visit asbgold.com. That's asbgold.com for your free gold and silver guide today.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
This is the big story yesterday. Miss Israel walks into a bar in Williamsburg, and who's sitting there but the wretched, vile anti-Semite that is New York City's First Lady, Rama Duwaji, the mayor's wife. So I reached out to all my buddies, Emily Austin, Ghazal Mizrahi, till I finally tracked down Miss Israel. Her name is Melanie Shiraz, and she's joining us live, which is very nice, right now from somewhere unknown. I'm not going to give away where she is because you're crazy, you people out there. So, Melanie, good morning on this Wednesday morning. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for hopping on this morning, and thank you for agreeing to do this. It's a big story here in New York, and now it's all over the internet as well. So,
yeah, it is.
It's a big deal. So if you wouldn't mind, well, first of all, you were Miss Israel last year. Are you still Miss Israel?
Yes. So Melanie Shiraz, Miss Israel 2025 through 2026. I still have a couple months left.
Couple of months left. Okay. And is Miss Israel like an annual thing? So somebody else next year? Is it 2 years?
Yeah.
How long do you hold that title?
It's annual. It's annual in every country.
Okay. And where in Israel do you live? I'm curious.
I live in Tel Aviv, but I've actually been in the U.S. for the last 2 months because I got stuck because of the war, and then I ended up embarking on a speaking tour. So I've been doing that for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I know you had a big speaking engagement here in New York just a couple of days ago. That's why you were here, and that's why you ended up in this cafe in Williamsburg. Now, did you know about that place? Did somebody recommend that to you? Why did you end up in that specific cafe?
So what brought me to New York was that I was hosting the Consul General and the Consulate of Israel in New York's annual Independence Day celebration, which was a very big event. And a few hours before that, I just decided I wanted to go have a coffee, have breakfast before I have to get ready for the event. So no, I just walked out of my friend's apartment that I was staying at, saw this cafe, thought it looked cute, and started sitting, having my coffee, my breakfast, and maybe 10 minutes after that, none other than Rama Duwaji walks in. And not only does she walk into the same cafe as me, she actually sits right next to me on a bench.
You can't make this up. You can't make this up. Yeah.
I said to myself, like, what are the odds? Like, there is definitely a reason that this is happening. I don't know if I believe in that kind of stuff, but there's no way I'm going to let this girl sit next to me right now, and I'm not going to tell her anything.
All right. So obviously you're well aware of what she did in the past, liking the graphic images from October the 7th. Okay, you're aware of all that. But initially, it seemed like, Melanie, that you were okay with at least engaging in some conversation. Was this a strategy by you to make her feel comfortable and then go after her? How did the whole conversation start?
I'm always up for having a conversation, you know, even if somebody's standing on the opposite side of me, as long as they're willing to have a dialogue. I think that's the best approach to this kind of stuff. I think people are way too divisive and divided. But I did know that obviously she has a pretty strong sentiment towards Israeli for God knows what reason. And so I decided to first ask her for a picture just to kind of gauge what vibe she was going to be in. So I introduced myself, said my name is Melanie, and I asked her for a photo, and she took a photo with me, and she was very, very nice. And then as we were taking the photo, I told her, I'm actually Miss Israel.
Oh.
And I saw saw the expression change, even though I have to say, I mean, this is part of her job as a public figure these days, I guess, but she did stay polite and cordial, but you could very distinctly see the body language change. And so I noticed this, and I told her, listen, I have to say I'm very disappointed in the things that I have seen you posting or endorsing, but part of my role as Melanie and as Miss Israel is to engage with people in productive dialogue, and I would be happy to have a conversation with you. Now, I think that for the wife of a mayor, like the right response would have been anything, but she kind of brushed me off and smiled awkwardly. And then I asked her, since I gauged this disinterest from her, I asked her, have you ever met an Israeli before? Have you ever gotten to speak to an Israeli directly before? And she once again kind of brushed me off and said, yeah, I have many Israeli friends, which I struggle to believe.
Oh, my God.
And so I just wanted to see, would she have taken a photo with me had she known who I was? And so I asked her, hey, I didn't like the way this one turned out. Do you mind if we get another one? And she said, no, I think that's enough. and that was pretty much it. So, I'm not the kind of person that aggressively just opens up my camera and starts talking at people. I figured I would get her consent, but yes, it was a very, very interesting interaction, I will say.
Wow! So when she walked in, Duwaji, you recognized her right away? Right away?
I did, but I was just thinking to myself, like, what are the odds that this girl is sitting right next to me? Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
But she also looked so much like the photos or like the persona that they try to present about her. She came in with her little sketchbook or notebook or whatever it was. She had like wired headphones. I don't know if that's like an attempt to look like she's part of the public and very likable, or if that's just where she goes. Obviously, I don't know because I don't live in New York, but yeah, many people have asked me, like, there's no way this was a coincidence, right? Like, you were looking for her, but the answer is definitely not.
No, the Mossad set this up. That'll be the folks on the side.
Yeah.
The Mossad, they had everything to do with this. They made sure that Melanie walked in and there's Rama. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I think it's fair to say that you really did expect that she would apologize. Not necessarily to you, but for her comments, for what she liked on the internet. You say she had a sketchbook. She's also involved with a lady in these children's books that also hates the Jews. Very, very public with her anti. Yeah, so everything she does, everything this woman does centers around hating Jewish people. If she would have said to you, Mel, listen, I don't feel that way. That was a long time ago. That doesn't go away. But at least try to make some type of explanation. Don't you think that would have gone a long way?
Oh, definitely. I mean, she publicly apologized I think it was a few weeks ago. And obviously, I think she was forced to, because the style of rhetoric that she was found endorsing just kind of reached a new low or a new extreme. But, when I told her, I was very, very nice and very cordial. Honestly, I was, I was really trying to not antagonize her, because I thought, like, this could actually be a very interesting and potentially very productive conversation. So I told her, look, I have to say, in all honesty, I'm disappointed in the content that I have seen you endorse online, but I would still love to have a conversation with you. And, when I said that, she kind of, it was like a non-response. She kind of nodded or just kind of was listening to what I said, but without actually acknowledging it, which I think is it's weird, and it's kind of crazy for two reasons. Like, first of all, you publicly apologized, and so how is it that you can't apologize to an Israeli face to face?
Hold on, well, she never. Hold on, hold on. When you say publicly apologize, Melanie, she never apologized for liking the graphic figures on October the 7th.
It was a non-apology. No, it was a non-apology.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that it's a lot harder to do that publicly than it is to just acknowledge an Israeli telling you that they have seen you do this. You're literally sitting right next to me. I mean, even out of discomfort, if I were in her position, I would have probably acknowledged that, but she didn't. And then obviously, I mean, you heard the story, but right after that, the conversation kind of ended. She obviously wasn't interested in having a conversation with me, claimed she had heard my side many times, and then refused to take any other photos or engage with me in any other way. So, obviously, I think that it's very representative of a larger, of the larger picture, or like this is like a micro example of the macro. And it's something that I've experienced over the last several weeks touring campuses across the U.S., there's one side that is definitely open and willing to have dialogue, and there's one side that is not. And you can even see it in the style of protests that are going on. Never have I seen an Iran protest, against the IRGC, or a pro-Israel protest get as nasty as the Palestinian protest.
That's right. You're 100% right. You're 100% right.
It's very clear that there's a lack of willingness to have any amount of productive dialogue on one side.
No,
it was just sad to see, because this is the mayor's wife. This is not only it's not only like a mayor's wife, it's the mayor of New York City. Like there are so many Jewish people in New York City. So it's very disheartening to me to see that that's the approach in one of the most high density Jewish populations in the world.
Listen to this podcast now
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Why is the middle class shrinking? Why are people facing an affordability crisis while marginalized individuals called informals grow in numbers? Join me as I travel the world, speaking with people living in invisibility, the leaders working to solve it, and uncovering the hard truths shaping our economy and daily reality.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform.